has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
The flower of love, the coup de grace on a pain-free Friday as we get close to wrapping up the week on C2C. We're still hitting some baseball stragglers before we get into these big games tonight, a full slate.
Full slate indeed. Yes, just a couple of other things. First of all, JD Martinez, who hasn't played yet this year, of course he was with the Mets last year, remained unsigned. He does have an offer, non-guaranteed offer from the Texas Rangers, who could use some offense. But JD, he's missing some tread on the tire, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he's shot. We've already seen this act already, and the play stunk. I mean, I'm not talking about just they didn't need him. He didn't do anything, and he's not effective anymore. He doesn't matter. This isn't going to work.
Yeah, I don't see what, if your offense is in that bad a shambles that you got to try to pull JD Martinez off the couch, you have bigger problems going forward. Bobby Witt Jr. will play for Team USA at the World Baseball Classic. I believe he's the third confirm. I believe it's him, Judge, and Skeens are the confirms that are going to play for the United States. Of course, next spring, 2026. Everybody's very excited about that, the World Baseball Classic. All right, let's go to tonight. We've got lots of games. Everybody's playing. It's Friday night, heading into the weekend. Let's roll, baby. The Mets, after taking those last two from the Braves, will now be at PNC. How about that? A Friday night baseball in Pittsburgh. Mitch, don't call me Helen Keller against David Peterson. Mets minus 145 on the road. Pirates plus $1.20 and an 8.5.
Well, I mean, I just can't bet on Helen Keller. He's 1-10. He's like, a Black Cloud Diner. The guy never wins. All they do is talk about he's, a hot topic of trade conversations with his low ERA and everything else. I don't think his ERA is that low. I'm not going to get that excited. He's got a 4 ERA. Peterson's way better. He's got a full run less, right? This guy per game. And I think that, Peterson's been winning, and the Mets always kick the Pirates' ass. My whole life it's been going on. So, and, Soto's hitting, and they just took 2 from the Braves at the end to split that series. They need to go to Pittsburgh and beat the Pirates because they suck.
Right. You can't. This is one of these weekends. It's an absolute minimum. You have to take 2 out of 3. Like, you just can't. You can't go messing around with the Pirates this weekend in Pittsburgh.
In all 3.
They should, but anything less than 2 out of 3 is a really, really bad weekend. The Rays will be in, which it is. The Rays will be in Baltimore this weekend. Ryan Pepio against Sagano tonight. Minus 130 for the Rays, who are hot. Plus $1.10 for the O's and an 8.5.
Yeah, this thing has skyrocketed, right? Like, I was at minus $1.16 when it opened. I saw it this morning at like $1.29, and now it's minus $1.33. I still think Pepio beats the Orioles at Camden. You know why? Because all they do is win, and frankly, all the Orioles do is lose. So I'm just looking at it in terms of, like, right now, I've been on Tampa and Toronto cashing tickets like 5 out of 7 days a week. Like, it's unbelievable. I'm not betting on bad teams. There's a novel idea.
Don't want to bet on bad teams. It's not fun to do that. It just isn't. The A's have been a bad team for the last month and a half. They are in the Bronx this weekend. Tonight against the Yankees, it'll be Mitch Spence. Will Warren goes for the Bombers. Big number here, minus 265, plus 215 for the A's and an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm run lining the Yankees. It's not that much. It's minus 122. I'll take Warren Miller Films over Errol Spence.
Errol Spence for the Yankees tonight. Minnesota and the Tigers getting together in Detroit. Sawyer Gibson Long is going for the Tigers. I believe Uncle Festa is going to start for the Twins, as they were undecided for a while, but I did see their lineup that Uncle Festa was going to be in there. Minus 130 for Detroit, plus 110 for the Twins, and an 8.5.
Yeah, like I'm on the Tigers no matter what. I don't. Festa's awful. I mean, he gives up 7 runs a game, so I like the Tigers and the over. I mean, this guy literally gets tattooed like the Rolling Stones. And then Gibson Long, he's another one. He gives up 5 runs a game. This is going to be an over, but the Tigers will win. I like that price at minus $128.
In fact, if I knew this morning Uncle Fester was going to start, I probably would have put a Tiger on the list. So
I'm
Kerry
a little
Carpenter,
surprised.
Kerry Carpenter, come on down tonight
Right.
if Uncle Fester's going to be starting the game. San Diego is in Cincinnati. Dylan Cease and Nick Martinez tonight. Minus 130 for the Friars, plus 110 for the Reds, and a 9.5.
You know, the Reds, to me, have been playing well. They took 2 of 3 from the Yankees. I think Tito's done a good job with them, and I'm getting plus money, plus 109 against San Diego. Now, I don't deny that the Padres are, if you will, barely, quote unquote, barely better than the Reds by 2 games. But Dylan Cease is he's been just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody says. So, I mean, it's not like I think Martinez is better. I just like the Reds tonight at Great American at plus money. Catch the Padres sleeping. Like they don't want to be in Cincinnati. They'd rather be in San Diego chilling the most. They're out in the middle of Ohio. Is there anything worse? So I'll take the Reds.
Cardinals and Cleveland start a series tonight at Progressive. It'll be Louis Ortiz and Sonny Gray. Minus 130 for the Redbirds, plus 110 for the Guardians, and an 8.5.
So I bet this game today, and I bet Sonny Gray, and, I just want to see where, I got it at a way better price, minus $1.18, and I'm taking Gray because the bottom line is your boy Ortiz, he's another one that stinks. I mean, this guy goes out, and all he is a guy that pitches and loses. Okay, so they just send him out there like, we got to send somebody out there every 5 days. So we're going to send him out there, and then he's going to get beat. Gray's way better. Gray's been sharp as hell. Gray's an all-star. So let's see him get it done. And I bet it today. I need to cash that ticket. I really do. Let's not mess around here. He should be able to win that game, even though it's in Cleveland. It means nothing to me where they play games.
And I will tell you that once again, Jose Ramirez not in the lineup after getting hit by that pitch yesterday in
All
the
the more reason.
Cleveland game. And then I'll tell you the other side of it, Vlad not in the lineup either.
Yeah,
for
he's
Toronto
not playing either.
in Boston against the Red Sox, which will be Berrios and Bayo tonight. Right now, minus 130 for the Red Sox, plus $1.10 for the Jays, and an 8.5.
I still bet Toronto plus $1.09. This thing has changed so much because Boston was minus 108 and now they're minus 129 because Vladdy's not playing. The problem is that they still rake without him. Like he's one bat of many. The Jays are good and the Red Sox aren't. Like Red Sox are losing left and right. And I still think Toronto goes into Fenway tonight and knocks the ball all over that place.
We will give you the rest of the lineup for tonight when we come back. Lots of other games on the schedule.
We got it.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
we are seeing unbelievable temperature surges over the past couple days. So I wanted to ask you this question to let the people know, like, how do we account for that in our handicapping? Like, 2 good pitchers on the mound, but you look at a place like Wrigley Field, let's just say, 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, 90-plus degree temperatures. Is it almost like you say to yourself, you just have to fade the environment and not worry about the pitchers, because if we're hitting fly balls, they're going yard?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Their team total is 19.5 wins. I told you to go under, and it's by far the best bet I have recommended on this network in 4 years. They can't get out of their own way. And now Sloot is out for the year. Let's hope Sloot gets back, because I respect the hell out of Sloot, and I want her to go out on her own terms. Hopefully we'll have her back for the 26th season.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and okay, safe, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that wrist. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 18.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So the Phillies couldn't hit in Houston. Now they take their act to Atlanta, Mike.
They do take their act to Atlanta next, where they'll see the Braves, who have come off, of course, those 2 losses to the Mets. Bryce Elder tonight for Atlanta. Mick, don't call me Kane, is able, going for the Phillies. Minus 180 for Atlanta, plus $1.50 for Philly, and a 9.5 tonight.
So, everyone thinks that because they got shut down in Houston that they stink all of a sudden. And the reality is they're 47-34. It's the Braves that stink. Give me the Phillies and Kane and Abel at plus $1.46. Fat money tonight at Truist.
Got to have that. Big number there. The Giants and the White Sox in Chicago. Landon Raup against Aaron Savale. Light the match with these guys. Right now, minus 155 for the Giants, plus $1.30 for the White Sox, and a 9.5.
Look, I'm leery, but I'm taking the Giants here, and I'm run lining it at plus 107 because the White Sox suck so bad. But the Giants looked terrible at Oracle against the Marlins and got swept. So I'm nervous about the bet. So it's not like I'd be advising you to lay a lot on it. But I think the White Sox stink so much that I can't bet on them. I think, for my money, the Giants needed to get away from San Francisco after that performance. So you can go to Chicago and play that crappy team and take it out on them.
They do stink. I like the over in that game. I think that we'll get lots of runs with Savale and Raup and a little wind blowing out as well at Rate Field. Seattle and Texas and Arlington. Logan What's Eating Gilbert Grape against Nathan Eovaldi, who's back. He's missed the last month plus, being on the IL. Minus 120 for Seattle, even money for Texas, and a 6.5.
It started at minus 115 for Eovaldi. And now it's down to minus 101. I bet Eovaldi and the Rangers already today on a ticket to beat Seattle at Globe. The reason I think Gilbert Grape is back, but he hasn't been fantastic. Not his normal stuff that is dominant. And Eovaldi's been, the second best pitcher besides DeGrom on that team. And he's been very effective for him. You said they needed a bat. They need this. They need that. Well, there are two things they don't need is anything different than what they've been getting from Eovaldi and from DeGrom.
No question there. Homecoming for Kyle Tucker tonight. The Cubs are in Houston against the Astros. Of course, these two teams with one of the biggest trades in the offseason this past year. It'll be Cade Horton, here's a who, for the Cubbies. Brandon Walter will go for Houston, who's minus 115, Cubs minus 105, and an 8.5.
Yeah, I just watched Houston, beat up the Phillies with pitching. And now I think this is going to be a different kind of series. I think you're going to see a lot of hitting. I think Tucker will do well back in Houston. And I think the Cubs will do better than the Phillies did. But I'm still betting on the Astros in this game tonight over the Cubs. And it's crazy. They have the same record. And I think Houston's a better team than the Cubs.
The Rockies are in Milwaukee against the Brewers. It'll be Kyle Freeland tonight against Jose Quintana. Minus 215 for the Brewers, plus 180 for the Rockies, and an 8.5.
I mean, I'm run lining the Brewers here. Automatic. The Rockies are an atrocity. And the Brewers are tough as hell. I love Murphy's team. I like betting on them. And I've been cashing, tickets on them all week. So I'm going to go Brewers again, run line it.
Dodgers in Kansas City. The Royals have had all kinds of problems at home. I mean, they can't beat anybody at the K. Dustin May and Noah Cameron tonight. Minus 165 for LA, plus 140 for KC, and a 9.5.
I'm on the Dodgers run line at minus $1.04 and the over 9.5. I think the Dodgers will score 10 runs.
Dodgers putting up big numbers. Two late night games on the left coast. First in Anaheim, where Washington, after being in San Diego, heads up the coast. Jake Irvin and Jose Soriano this evening. Minus 165 for the Angels, plus 140 for the Nats, and an 8.5.
I'm going to stick with the Angels. They just finished off a sweep of the Red Sox, and they're still at home, and I'm going to take Soriano, and they can go a game over 500 tonight. They climb back to 500, and I say they keep it going in the Big A.
And finally, the Marlins, who just swept the Giants at Oracle, have won 4 in a row, are in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. It'll be Yuri Perez and Merrill Lynch Kelly tonight. Minus 180 for the Snakes, plus 150 for the Fish, and an 8.5.
I like Arizona and Merrill Lynch Kelly on the run line at plus $1.09. I've seen him get beat once, and he usually pitches fantastic every 5 days, and he does well there in the desert, and I think he'll beat Yuri Perez tonight in the Marlins. Their sweep will end in San Francisco. They'll go down there and lose. I'll take Kelly and run line it.
There you go. That is your night in baseball.
Let's go.
But of course, we need to try to get over the wall first. Big flies, taters. For a Friday night. We love Fridays and ringing the bell. We'll start in Chicago. We just talked about the Giants and the White Sox. You know I love going after Aaron Savale. Willie Adames just missed one the other night at home. Let's get him on the road here. Good price, too. Plus 400 for Adames. We'll start there. Next, you said you see some hits and runs in that Cubby-Astro series this weekend. I know Tucker will probably homer at some point, but against this lefty Walter, who's actually given up 4 homers in 20 innings, Saya Suzuki for me tonight at plus 420 for the Cubbies. Cease has been giving up bombs. Ellie De La Cruz plus 425 in Cincinnati. Wind blowing out in Cleveland tonight. I'm with you. I think Sonny Gray can win the game, but give me Kyle Manzardo at plus 430 for the Guardians to take one out to right field. Marte, too good of a price. I don't care that Yuri Perez is pitching. Plus 450 for Ketel Marte tonight in Arizona. And the big bomb of the night, with Rutschman out, Gary Sanchez is getting a lot of burn. And he's actually been hitting some homers, too. He's 1 for 1 with a homer off of Pepio in his career. That is a disrespectful price. Plus 850 for Gary Sanchez tonight. Let's go, baby. Big bomb.
Franchise.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and okay, safe, right?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. The NHL draft tonight is in Lipstick City at the Crypt, and your Islanders are going number one. I guess my question is, what are those two other picks they got in the deal with Montreal today? Where do those fall?
They are the 16th and 17th overall. So Montreal had two selections right in the middle of the first round. So the Islanders now, after the Dobson trade earlier this afternoon, have the 1st, 16th, and 17th for tonight. And obviously, Scotty, we've talked about this a little bit. You know what the talk is what they're trying to do, and that is to somehow maneuver themselves back into the top 5 to try to take Long Island's own James Higgins, who for a long time was the top prospect in this draft and has slipped down a little bit, a couple spots. So if he is still there at 4 or 5, I would think tonight, Scotty, when those picks come up, the Islanders will get on the phone with Utah or Nashville, respectively, at 4 and 5, and they will try to offer up those two picks, 16 and 17, and probably something else to get themselves back up, because they're taking this Schaefer with the first pick. It's kind of like a done deal at this point. That's the guy that they're going to.
But the other thing, the other thing makes no sense to me. I think that he's not worth 2 picks. Higgins is not worth the 16 and 17 pick in the draft. Now, one of them maybe, but both of them, and something else like what? Cash or a player for Higgins? You got to be kidding me.
Well, here's the thing, and I kind of brought this up today to some of the Islander, all the Islander people that used to follow me from the podcast, and that is this. Are they jumping through too many hoops just to try to go up and get this kid? Like, if James Higgins was from Minnesota, would they be working this hard to try to get back into the top 5? It's a great story. Because, the kid's from Long Island. I understand all that. And I think any team maybe would want to be in that position. But you can't give up more than it's worth to try and do it. So, look, you give up one of those picks. And now, look, remember this, too. The Islanders have a bunch of first-rounders next year because of the Brock Nelson trade. So they have Colorado's first-rounder next year, their own first-rounder next year. Maybe it's one of the 16 and 17 and one of the ones next year. Who knows? But they're going to have to spend to move up there. That's the thing. The team that's picking 4 or 5,
Utah is not giving up that pick. They already know who they want. They already made their mind up.
Dropping 10-plus slots at that point to go down. So you have to make it worth your while for that team to be able to do that, which is a lot. Now,
Brady Martin is the guy that they want from Sault Ste. Marie. They've already had all kinds of interviews with him and everything else. And then I think at 5, that would be the one to go after because I think Utah's made their mind up. And then at 6, most people think that's where he's landing with the Flyers.
I've seen a lot of the draftniks who cover the NHL say that he wouldn't get past the Flyers at 6. And you know this, the Flyers are not going to help the Islanders out and trade with them at the 6th spot. So if the Islanders do want to get him, they're probably going to have to get ahead of Philly because Philly's not going to go helping them out. And if he gets to 6, that's too good of, it's too good a value.
Do the deal with Nashville at 5 and steal him there if that's what you want. But he's not worth 2 draft picks.
Right.
He's not.
I think there's got to be a point where it's enough is enough in terms of what you're trying to give up to make this happen. Now, I don't have a problem with Dylan Dobson today and the return that they got because, honestly, he was asking for too much money. He's a good player, but $9.5 per year, and I know prices are rising in the NHL. He's supposed to be this great power play guy. He scored 2 power play goals the last 2 years.
Yeah, calm down on that guy. He's not I can't believe they gave him $9.5 million per year for his productivity.
I can't understand it whatsoever. So we'll come back and look. I love this kid Misa. I know the Islanders aren't taking him, but he has got just pure raw offensive skill,
scoring
that the Islanders have been desperate for 30 years. But this kid's can't miss, this Schaefer, so they're taking him. And the Sharks
will end up with down on him if everyone and their brother says he's the man. You can't be a Debbie Downer on the kid from the jump when everyone says he's can't miss. And then the other kid scores a lot of goals. Well, I think they're taking the kid Schaefer, and I think they can do serious damage at 16 and 17 and forget about the kid from Long Island.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. When they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I do not believe, I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and safe, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So what is the Islanders' new GM saying?
Well, here he is. This is Matthew Darsh, of course, who just took over. It sounds like he's got a pretty good idea of who he's going to take, although he's not going to spill the beans on who that is.
And we have an idea at this point. I mean, we're going to keep debating it till the end, keep calling around and getting as much info. Part of the job at one point, because we all know the talent at this point, it's you're researching more on the character and personalities and you're just trying to get as much information. But there's a few guys we like, and do I have an idea at this point? Because it's in 4 days, probably, but we're going to keep doing our due diligence all the way through Friday.
That was a waste of time. Let's listen to the kid that they're going to take.
Well, this is Matthew Schaefer, of course. He has not spent much time in the New York area, just one trip for a concert. He's excited to potentially get to Long Island.
I mean, I've been to New York once for a concert last summer. It's pretty cool. Like, I was downtown actually, so yeah, I haven't been to Long Island or anything, but I hear it's all really nice.
Who'd you see?
Morgan Wallen. Yeah, so pretty good country singer. So I'm seeing him this summer. So excited.
What's it going to be like to hear your name called?
Yeah, I mean everything. It's every kid's dream, and especially mine. You work so hard up to this point, and to hear it, it's obviously really cool. But the work just starts now.
So let's see what he turns into. I think it's exciting time for your franchise. You got new blood in the front office, completely changing the perspective of everything. And now you got the number one pick, the 16 and 17 pick. You got a full deck. Lou's gone. I think the sun is rising again on Long Island with the franchise. I thought it was stale as all hell, Mike, and it was just not working. And people can say whatever they wanted. When they were a step away from the Stanley Cup final, they took 2-3 steps back.
They did. And look, a part of that was a lot of those guys that were part of those two teams that were, a couple games away from going to the final, older players. And what do you do when guys are playing well for you? You end up giving them longer-term deals, and then those guys get old fast. And that's kind of where they were. And they got a chance to reset themselves a little bit here with some youth. And look, I know I said I liked the other kid. Everything about Schaefer and remember this, none of us could pick these guys out of a lineup before 6 weeks ago. This is not like the NFL draft or the NBA draft where we watch these kids in college and we know you have to be a serious, there's only a handful of people, even who cover the NHL, who actually spend time throughout the year diving into these prospects and getting ready for this draft. Any Islander fan didn't even know who Matthew Schaefer was before they got the number one overall pick a couple weeks ago. So that's just kind of how it is. But everything about this kid, Scotty, he's an unbelievable kid. He's been through a lot in his life. His mom passed away. He just seems like a great kid. He's got tons of skills. He's a Cale Makar type skater and mover of the puck on the back end. So obviously, I hope it's a home run, and it sounds like that's precisely what it's going to be.
Listen, there's a lot of there's a lot of college hockey players that people still don't know who they are, and then the rest of them are in the O or the W. I mean, there's all kinds of guys playing in the juniors and everything else that are going to get drafted that people have never heard of. That's why if you watch it, you lose interest quickly if you're watching the thing on TV because you're like, I've never heard of any of these people. And after about an hour of it, you're ready to jump. Right.
If it's not a year where you have, Connor McDavid and Jack Eichel or Austin Matthews or, you don't know who these guys are. Nobody knows who Michael Misa and outside of Long Island, nobody knows who James Higgins is. It's just the way that it goes.
And nobody cares.
With this stuff. Correct. They care when they start actually playing for your team. That's when you care, when he becomes a part of your team and they're actually on the NHL team. Because a lot of these kids, remember this too, nobody will play in the NHL next year. There's maybe a couple of guys who will play in the NHL next year, and that's it.
I told you my buddy's kid, he's taking his kid. He's 8 or something to the draft tonight. He's from LA. Mm-hmm. And the kid plays in Simi Valley. He's a goalie. He's really into hockey. A lot of the, Kings and even Crosby's seen out in LA training. He told me all about it, that he was at the facility where they skate and play. It's more popular than you think in Los Angeles, believe it or not, because you think of LA, you think of, the last thing you think of is hockey, that they're playing hockey, but they are actually playing ice hockey in Los Angeles. And young kids that love the sport, that are interested in young, talented players that are coming into the league. They do have an interest in it, and they do know who they are. And it's the people like us, people, grown-ups, adults that don't watch the NHL, whatever, that have no clue what they're watching or seeing or who any of these kids are.
No doubt. We talked enough about the Dobson trade. Obviously, he goes to Montreal. He gets $9.5 million a year. Other transactions today. John Tavares will be back in Toronto.
What did you think of that?
4-year extension worth $4.3 million.
I almost fell over.
Right. I mean, I guess, look, you got to remember from their aspect, I guess, they know they're not getting Marner back. And now they're going to pay Tavares a lot less than he was making, because remember, he was in double digits. He was at 10, 7 or 11, whatever he was at. And now you're putting him on there for 4.3. It doesn't surprise me. I thought he would either go back or go to a team like Dallas or Colorado where he'd have a chance to win a cup. But he wants to, I guess, finish the career in Toronto and let it go. Took a discount, I'll tell you that. $4.5 million.
How old is he now? How old is he?
30. He's got to be 35-ish, I would have to think at this point. John Tavares is checking in at 34. He'll be 35 in September. So
Good
right
call.
on that number.
Well,
he's right there.
I give him 2 years before they get rid of him.
It's possible. Absolutely possible that they could get rid of him in that time. Oilers signed Trent Frederick, 8-year extension, $3.85 per year. He
did nothing against Florida. I just wanted to add.
He did do nothing against Florida. I agree with that. Dallas re-signs Jamie Benn to a 1-year deal. That will be a incentive-laden deal for their captain to come back for another year. And as we said earlier, the NHL and the NHLPA reach an agreement on a CBA that will run through the 2030 season. And it is rare from this aspect, Scotty. Usually it takes them like down to the last hour to get a new CBA, the NHL and the players. So I guess good job by them by actually doing it. I gave you a list of stuff yesterday. It can hurt your brain. I think the biggest thing, honestly, is that they're closing the loophole on the teams with the long-term IR, the money for the playoffs. You know, you used to be able to throw a guy on IR. Is that $7.5 million? You can go get another player kind of stat. They're closing that loophole, and teams that are not going to be allowed to do that anymore when the playoffs start.
Yeah, that was, let's face facts. I think that the Lightning did it well. I think the Panthers did it well.
Vegas, too. Vegas was excellent.
Oh, Vegas was the best at it. You're right with Stone.
Vegas was the best at it with Stone. So that makes me like, I thought they were going to do that. Now, they can still do it this year. I don't think that kicks in for like another year or two when they have to start. Because if they're going to sign Marner next week, which is what everybody thinks, they got to get rid of somebody, right? How are they fitting Marner in with all the big contracts that they have on that team? Somebody's got to go. Or maybe they'll just stash Stone all year on long-term IR. Just put Stone, take the year off. We'll see you in April. You don't have to play. We're going to let Mitch
Stone's falling apart. He's like a broken toy.
He has. So there you go. NHL draft tonight. I got a lot of soccer this weekend to get to you. We got a lot of soccer.
My buddy's kid's name is Atticus. He's a goalie.
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Little spew news on Ron Washington, the skipper of the Angels. He's been out and has not been managing, and because of a health concern. And now they're saying he's done for the rest of the year because of medical leave. He's sick. He's not going to manage the team anymore. That's it. He's done managing. And meanwhile, they're at 500 and they've been playing really well. All right, Carver High, I know you got some soccer, Skinny.
Yeah, I know you've been into the Gold Cup and the FIFA Club World Cup a lot. Well, we get to the knockout rounds in both this weekend. So there's actually a lot of soccer for you to watch if you are so inclined. First, let's get to the Gold Cup. They will start their knockout round. 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. That is the bracket for it there that you see. Panama, Honduras, Mexico, Saudi Arabia on one side of the bracket. USA, Costa Rica, Canada, and Guatemala on the other side of the bracket. Let me give you the Saturday games. Both of these games are at the Big Toaster in Glendale, Arizona. First game, Panama and Honduras. Panama minus 160, Honduras plus 450. The draw, of course, that's the 90-minute line, Scotty. Remember that. Plus right. 280. We'll play in the first game. And then the second game of the doubleheader, same spot, will be Mexico and Saudi Arabia. And obviously Mexico is heavy here. Minus 240 on the 90-minute line, plus 7 bills for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I like Mexico in that one. And then, I don't have a feeling about Panama and Honduras. I think the USA will have their hands full with Costa Rica, and I like Canada in that other game against Guatemala. And I know that those games are on Sunday. But I think people just think the USA is going to win this thing or tripping.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very tough for them as well. They will play Costa Rica, the United States, coming up on Sunday night. Now, both of these games are in Minnesota at US Bank. So Sunday night, 7 o'clock East for US and Costa Rica. US minus 180. Costa Rica plus 490. The draw plus 310. Canada will play in the second game of the doubleheader that night. They are minus 340 now, with Guatemala plus 850, the draw 400. And, of course, the winners of the games on those days will play each other. So U.S. plays the winner. If they get through Costa Rica, they would play the winner of the Canada-Guatemala game.
I think they might get upset, but I think Canada will win.
I think that Canada will win as well. They should be able to take care of Guatemala, who many would think maybe is the weakest of the 8 teams, even with Saudi Arabia in there that are left in this thing. So that's the Gold Cup for you this weekend. As far as the FIFA Club World Cup, they are down now to the round of 16, knockout round of 16. That is obviously the big bracket that I have for you there with all those. Let me give you who's playing this weekend. Saturday, 2 games. First, high noon, you will have Palermo and Botafogo. That game will be at Lincoln Financial in Philly. Plus 135 there for Palermo and plus 240 for Botafogo and plus 195 for the draw. Second game on Saturday in the FIFA Club World Cup is in Charlotte at Bank of America, and it's Benfica and Chelsea. Good match, with Chelsea being the favorite at plus 110.
Yeah, I kind of like Botafogo and Benfica, to be honest with you. I've watched Chelsea. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, look, and also because Chelsea's not really any of these teams are, but it seems like Benfica's brought a little bit of a stronger squad across for this thing than Chelsea has, at least to this point. All right, on Sunday you get 2, including what many would believe is the main event for the weekend, and that is Sunday high noon at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, where Messi and Inter Miami face his old team, PSG, on Sunday afternoon. And they're, of course, heavy favorites. -6 bills for PSG, plus 1,000 for Miami in this game.
How am I not going to take a shot with Messi at that price, a dime?
That.
I'm taking Miami and a dime. Why not? I'm sick of PSG winning everything. I'm sick of them being in everything. I want to see Messi by himself beat him, and I make a dime.
I don't take many of these games very seriously, these FIFA Club World Cup games. You're talking about Messi being plus a dime in a game.
I mean, honestly.
For a gas and a Happy Meal bet, I think that's absolutely worth it. If you want to have a little fun and bet Messi and Inter Miami, I mean, it would be a huge upset because remember, PSG, even their third teamers should squash Inter Miami in a game. But Messi's Messi, man, and you never know when he's out there what could happen.
I'm betting on him.
Bayern is playing in the second game at Hard Rock in Miami. God, 4 p.m. It's going to be boiling there. Flamengo will be their opponent. Bayern Munich is favored -165 in that game.
I mean, I think Flamengo's used to playing in the heat in Brazil, and I think that Bayern is still going to beat them.
Yeah, that's another one. It's like the PSG Miami thing. Like, they're so good and so stacked.
They're so loaded.
It's going to be so hot there. Miami on a Sunday afternoon.
When they play, didn't they play in Qatar or something? It was 100 something. Like, they're not afraid of heat, these soccer players. I mean, they'll bring in subs, whatever. They're so much better than Flamengo. It's not even funny.
The rest of the knockout matches in the round of 16 are Monday and Tuesday for us. So you'll have more of those knockout matches, including Man City and a couple others are playing in those 2 days. So plenty of FIFA Club World Cup for you. We'll come back. Lots of stuff for this weekend. There's some boxing matches to tell you about. Wimbledon starts on Monday as well. So lots of sports on the scene on the last weekend of June.
It's the grass season in tennis.
It is the grass season in tennis, and I'll give you the odds for the men's.
Alcatraz again, your boy Carlos.
I can't believe he's not the 1 seed.
He never loses.
How is he not the 1?
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's hook up with my boy Rich Sermonello.
Hey, Scott, I just wrapped up my preseason college football All-American team, first team through fourth team. This is something I provide to various outlets, most recently Phil Steele's preseason magazine. I want to touch on some of the key points that I found, and I'm going to steer clear of skill position players. We talk a lot about Heisman Trophy odds, and we'll do that throughout the summer. So I want to talk about some of the players that stand out, some of the groups that have stood out for me. First on offense, top offensive lineman in the country, not a major program. It's Utah's offensive tackle, Spencer Fano. Dominant run blocker last season, great athlete off the edge, terrific in both phases. I think he's the top lineman in the country entering this season, Scott, and probably will be a top 10 overall pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Now, Alabama's offensive line stood out to me as well. I've got 3 Crimson Tide blockers on my All-American team, 2 on the first team, Caden Proctor and Parker Brailsfield at center. Year 2 for Kalen DeBoer and his offense. I know there's a new starting quarterback, but I think this offense has got a shot to be really good. Now, tight end, a name that a lot of folks haven't heard of. My first team All-American is Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt, of all places. Such a fascinating story. It's a kid who began his career as a quarterback at Texas A&M, transfers to New Mexico State, gets beat out by Diego Pavia, and now he's Pavia's favorite target in Nashville. Freakish athlete. I think he's the best tight end in the country. Number 2, Max Clare, a tight end from Ohio State who transferred in from Purdue. Now, defensively, best overall defensive player for one more year. I think it's Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State. Ohio State kind of rebuilding along the defensive line, so I think there'll be more opportunities for Downs to make plays. My favorite defensive player, Kyle Lewis, the linebacker, first team All-American from Pittsburgh, undersized but incredibly tenacious, great playmaker. Pat Narduzzi told me best defensive player he's ever coached. And a couple of team notes on the All-American team. First off, Clemson is back defensively. TJ Parker, Peter Woods, 2 defensive linemen on my first team All-American squad. And Texas, the only team with 3 players on the first team All-American. We're talking about Colin Simmons, year 2 off the edge, Anthony Hill, best linebacker in the country, and Michael Taft, former walk-on, first-team All-American safety. A lot of great players to talk about. Next week, let's talk about some of the best units on offense as 2025 quickly approaches.
Great stuff, Rich. Have a fantastic weekend, buddy. Everybody loves leftovers, Carver High.
They certainly do. Just to piggyback off of Rich with the college football, Texas State will leave the Sun Belt and join the Pac-12. That seems like those wheels are in motion, and they are going to happen. The Cincinnati Bengals and Hamilton County have agreed to a new deal to modernize Paycor Stadium. That will keep the Bengals in downtown Cincinnati through the 2036 season with that stadium. So they're going to modernize Paycor.
Whatever.
Boxing this weekend. Everybody loves boxing. How about tonight in Wichita, Kansas, where the comeback of Deontay Wilder will begin?
Bronze Bomber?
He's going to fight some tomato can named Terrell Herndon.
And
tonight.
Lose again.
Lose to this guy?
He gets knocked out every time he gets punched now. He's brain dead.
Oh, my God. And if you're in for more theatrics in the boxing world, tomorrow night in Anaheim, Jake Paul is fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Paul will beat him. He's a bum. Chavez
He's
Jr. is a
100
bum.
years old. Like, what?
It's not him. It's his son.
Oh, he's old.
He's even worse.
Come on. Wimbledon starts Monday morning. Of course, we know that the Alcatraz will be our guy on the men's side of the draw. Sabalenka is the favorite on the women's. This World Series of Poker thing is very interesting. That winner and runner-up of the 1500 no-limit event accused of chip dumping, it sounds really guilty after I read that story. I obviously know a lot about that world from back in the day. That does not sound good. You do the Dylan Brooks to close it out, because that's too good.
Files for a restraining order against his ex and the mother of his kids after she destroyed his belongings, hacked his social media accounts, and threatened to cut off his fingers. I do not mess with women that threaten to cut things off of me, my fingers or otherwise. Front Office Sports next on GTD, In-Game Live, Sports Rage, Carver and Lisi tonight. We'll see you Monday on Coast to Coast.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I do not believe, I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and okay, safe, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's In-Game Live, your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.